Soon means living in a brand new state. Brand new state. On the trees and want to give you barley, carrots, and potatoes. Pass you on the cattle, spinach, and tomatoes.
Always on the prairie where the shoes come soon. Plenty of fair and plenty of fruit.
Plenty of fruit to swing the road. Plenty of corn and plenty of more.
When the wind comes sweeping down the glade, and the wave and the weed catchers smile sweet when the wind comes right behind the rain. Oh, Lahoma every night, my honey lamb and I sit alone and talk and watch a hawk making lazy circles in the sky. And when we say, we're only saying you're doing fine, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, okay.
And we are back. Anyone enjoying the 2 shows a day? I'm kind of in a new routine. Hey, Mama Bear. Chrissy said she was almost late. No, you're not late, girl. There's no such thing as late when it comes to being around friends. Let's first start out like Okie Mima. She's going to know what I'm talking about. Melanie's going to know. Where is Okie softball girl, Lisa Wilson, Shonda? Where are they? Telling you what, I'm really upset about what happened on Monday. But first, I want to say hello to all of you. Cinnamon Hot said, truthfully, I'm still shaking my head over the McFadden case, crime, and how it was handled. You and me both. I think the entire department should have had OSBI come in, totally retrained, ready to rumble. So, old Brooks is going to get personal, okay? Old personal. My husband had to have a DOT physical on Monday. So I had to haul my fat ass up US 75, okay, to take him to get his DOT physical. Woo! Okay, he passed. Everything's good. He's back on the road. Now, we live in Glenpool, Oklahoma. That's where we live. Most of you know, some don't care. I mean, that's the truth. Hang on, let me give you a little bit of history about Glenpool, Oklahoma. Hang on. Okay, what is this? I don't know who this asshole is, but anyway, that's Sapulpa, Oklahoma. That's Hera, Oklahoma. Okay, obviously there's not a lot going on in Glenpool. However, we live in a neighborhood, and on one side there is Highway 67. On the other side, there's Highway 75. So as we were coming back, Melanie knows what I'm talking about. As we were coming back from Tulsa, we're going down 67 and all hell is breaking loose. All hell is breaking loose. Because people are coming out of Okmulgee, Kiefer, Liberty Mounds, and there is no slow down, traffic signal, or anything. Now, I go through there quite a bit because over there, I mean, I shop over there. I do. And there's a very, very, very dangerous intersection. And here's the kicker. There's a school there. Got what I'm saying? You got what I'm saying? I'm very shook about this because a 9-year-old boy was killed. And I have a neighbor across the street, and I just love that little boy. He was his friend. Let me show this to you.
A 9-year-old was killed in a 5-car crash on 151st Street. The city of Glenpool is now urging action. I'm 2 News Oklahoma's Braden Bates. I dove into the Highway 67 corridor study, which outlines proposed changes that could increase safety on what Glenpool police say is their deadliest highway.
It is. In a minute, you're going to see a black Denali with a girl with a green vape trying to get through. That's me. Okay? Right here. Okay, I'll show you.
Changes that could increase safety on what Glenpool police say is their deadliest highway.
Yep, Greg and I were right there. Okay? Damn it. Come on. Right there where the Brahms is, right across is where Greg parks his truck. Everything was stopped, and all we could see was total carnage in front of us. Total carnage. I'm like, what on earth happened? And I said to my husband, I said, I know what happened. They still haven't put a light up. Artillery said, oh, I'm from there. What happened? Well, you're from Glenpool? You're going to figure it out real quick. So where 67, when you're going west, there is an exit to get on 75. And on the other side, which takes you north, on the other side, there's an exit to go 75 south. So as you're coming through, no, there's nothing to change how fast you're going. The Glenpool? Yeah, Glenpool. Glenpool intersection. Yep, the one between the Come and Go and the Brahms. Exactly. Let me go through this first, and then I'll answer questions, because I'm really shook up about this.
On page 4 of the 276-page study, it's made clear the report is just showing data and proposed changes. No funding or improvement projects are planned. The report was made public yesterday, but was dated back to January 2025. It shows 368 reported crashes.
This is outside of my neighborhood, okay? 368 reported crashes. Now, some people will say, now, Brooks, you have a crime channel, do you not? Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. This is a crime. This is a crime. 112 injuries, 6 deaths. Not included in the report is 2 other deaths. Now, you're going to see some people in comments and different things going, well, people need to pay attention on the road. That's not how it works. You got to go with the flow of traffic. Okay?
Crashes that caused around 112 injuries. Among those crashes were 6 deaths. In the last 3 months, 2 News reported on 2 deadly crashes on 151st Street, the last being the crash that killed a 9-year-old student. Due to the timing of these...
It's always the exact same place. There's not even a school zone on 67 to get everyone slowed down so you can turn off on Warrior Road to safely get the kids there. The debris from this car crash, shit was flying up on the school bus.
Crashes, and when the data was sampled, these latest deaths were not.
They don't know shit. They don't know shit. I can give them my data. I saw it. Oklahoma Department of Transportation. Quit worrying about the overpass on 75. You have other things to take care of. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Factored into this report. The report says turns caused the majority of the crashes, highlighting a.
Exactly. When they come out of this intersection, now on this one, there was a semi truck that was trying to correct its trailer, and it caused a lot of problems because people were going the speed limit. But the speed limit for that area with the traffic is too fast.
Need for turn lanes. Other proposed changes include street lighting, traffic lights, and speed limit reduction.
That's exactly where the traffic light needs to be. Let's go back. Right there is where it needs to be. There was an intersection right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse. There's a shopping center over here. There's Taco Bell. There's a Brahms. I wanted to buy some land over there to put a fitness center in. On the other side, there's St. Francis Hospital, and there is the Come and Go. And as you move a little further down the road, there's the schools.
Include street lighting, traffic lights, and speed limit reductions. Glenpool leaders say it's clear changes are needed. Data from the community agrees, with 75% of responses from a survey saying safety improvements are needed. I have an in-depth breakdown of the report on our website, kjrh.com. Reporting in studio, Brady Bates, 2 News, Oklahoma.
9-year-old boy is dead. Now let me show you his mama. She, last I heard, is in ICU. This is Amber Bain. She was taking her children to school. Last I heard, if I'm wrong, correct me, she is in ICU. Her 9-year-old son is dead. And he went to school with my little neighbor across the street. She had 3 other children in the car. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, one was treated and released. They're all in bad shape. They are all in horrible shape. She's a huge activist for the school. Look at everything. Wrestling families. Do we know anybody that has a pair of size 6 boys wrestling shoes laying around? I'll come pick it up for a new kid in our program. Excited to be welcoming new families to the crazy world of wrestling. Cheer parents, these shirts are so cute. Help support the K1 Warriorettes Cheer Squad and make sure you have your Cheer Mom and Dad t-shirts. Your daughters need one too. She has a lot of stuff going on. Glenpool Warriors Equipment Swap. That was on the 24th of July. Bring your gently used helmets, pads, pants, socks, gloves, cleats, and more. Drop off to share with your Warrior teammates or swap it out for new sizes. She's a good person. She's a good person. And her whole world is gone. All right, so this is from the Glenpool chat. Reach out to Governor Stitt's office about 151st Street and the Oklahoma Department of Transportation As governor, he has a lot of influence over ODOT. Use this form to help with another state agency or reach out to his office, which will get you nowhere. So I'm going to put the link in here if anybody wants to reach out, because it's bad. It's bad. Support Glenpool, support the Bain family, Warrior family. Parents, in honor of the Bain family, the 4th grade football game has been moved to our home stadium. This is our chance to wrap them in love, Warrior style. Let's pack the stands in a sea of royal blue, lift our voices high, and show them what true Cobb family support looks like. Don't leave a single seat empty. Let's make this day unforgettable. So that's going to be Saturday at 2. And yes, yours truly will be there. This is horrible. This is horrible. By the way, you can only fill the form out once. Leave it to politics. Leave it to politics. Little Tylen Bain is going to have to be buried, and there's a lot going on. If you want to support the family, you absolutely can. By the way, I don't care what other people say. Prayers work too. All right. And I really wish, when Amber gets well enough, she would sue the fuck out of Oklahoma Department of Transportation, because the data is there. On the morning of September 8th, 2025, yep, because Brooke saw it, Amber Bain was driving her 4 children to school just like any other day. While waiting in the center median to turn onto Warrior Road, their vehicle was struck by a trailer. The tragic accident claimed the life of their sweetest boy, Talon. Amber remains in the hospital in stable condition. There is some confusion here. She is in ICU, but she is stable. Of the 3 other children in the car, 1 is hospitalized, while the other 2 have been released. So I'm going to put this in. Every little bit helps. I promise it does. Because I can tell you right now, and I don't do GoFundMes. I don't like the way it's set up. I don't like that GoFundMes take such a big chunk. I'm telling you right now. I'm not asking you to, but I will vouch for this family. I saw it myself. I saw it. All right, so here is the press conference. Wait to be dazzled.
Today, our city mourns the tragic loss of a child in a traffic accident. As a father and a grandfather, personally, I cannot imagine the pain that the family is going through today. I would ask everyone to join me in praying for this family and praying for everyone who's involved.
Does anyone have an opinion as to why people get offended when someone says, "Can we pray?" or "I will pray for you"? Now, mind you, God knows the difference between people that say, "I'm going to pray," and people that just say, "I'm going to pray," and they don't. Why would anyone get offended? Artillery, glad you're here again. Wow, Oklahoma, do better. Hey, Artillery, where'd you move to? Just curious. I don't want your address, but
In this, and those that are dealing with this as they go through it, and this includes not only the family, but also the students and classmates that were involved, that know this child, for the teachers that know this child, for the police officers and the firefighters and the paramedics who responded.
There was helicopters everywhere, ambulance, fire trucks. There was one thing after another going on, and I was like, what the hell happened?
for those that just knew the victim and know the family. So please join us in that for all of you out there today. I'm going to take a moment to introduce Chief Jeremy Plain. He is our police chief. He has a couple of moments or a couple of pieces of information to share, and then I will come back up and close us out. Chief.
First, thanks for everyone for being here. I'm Jeremy Plain. I'm the chief of police here in Glenpool. I took over about 3 years ago. I worked here for a number of years before that. This morning, early, right at school start, we had a 3-car collision involving a commercial motor vehicle where a juvenile passed away. Several others were injured and transported. Again, that scene was turned over to Highway Patrol as that intersection is part of their jurisdiction and not ours. Any further questions on that, I would defer to OHP and they can give you updates on that, okay? As far as 151st in general, I got some stats that I'm going to provide, and you can have a copy of these when we're finished. In 2021, the city had 478 collisions. Of those, 56 of them were on Highway 67 or 151st Street, whichever one you want to call it. 2022, we had 450 on that stretch of road. We had 64. 23, we had 528, 82 on that stretch of road. 2024 was 484 with 83 on 151st. And in 2025, we had 366 so far this year, and 70 of those are on 151st. The PD can provide statistics a little further in depth on that as far as injury, non-injury, and fatalities. 2 years ago, we saw 7 fatalities in the city of Glenpool, 2 of which were on that road. We have statistically had at least
Right there. Right in that spot. Oklahoma Department of Transportation knows this.
one every year for the last 5 years. The city, I know, has worked with ODOT in trying to get some things accomplished, whether that be minimizing speed, different signage, something, whether it be traffic signals, things of that nature. And to date, we're not there. There have been traffic studies done. The city adopted that study. And
You want to hear what ODOT said? Oklahoma Department of Transportation? They said they will have their decision by the end of the year. OMG.
and pass it along to ODOT. We're waiting on them to decide what they're going to do with it. Statistically, Highway 67 and 151st Street from 26 West Ave to Lewis is by far our most dangerous place in the city, even over Highway 75. Per capita, we have more collisions with fatalities or injuries on that stretch than we do anywhere else. Again, I started here in 2008. Took over as chief 3 years ago. 4 years ago, my kids were traveling to school in that same intersection as this morning and was T-boned by a gentleman and put both of my children in the hospital. There have been conversations about school zones, reduction in speed right there. And so far, I'm not saying ODOT hasn't heard us or took it into consideration, but no action has been taken. We're still dealing with today, 4 years later, the same.
And when people say, well, why doesn't the chief of police do it or the mayor do it? Because it's the state of Oklahoma's highway. It's the state of Oklahoma's highway. That's what it is. It's a highway. And they've known for too long. It's ridiculous. And it's pissed me off to no end.
Stuff that I complained about in 2020. With that, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer what I can.
Just to be sure, you told us back in July, or the city at least, said that there was a request sent to ODOT from a corridor study about that. And so just to be clear, what dialogue did y'all get back from ODOT?
I thought it'd be a question for me.
Let me address a little bit, then I'll come back to the question if that's okay. One of the pieces that we've done is a multi-jurisdictional traffic study on Highway 67. This included the city of Bixby, city of Glenpool, ODOT, and INCOG. So they are aware of the study, participated in that study since its inception along this corridor. That has been completed. ODOT reviewed it, asked for some suggested revisions to that. Those have been done and sent back to them. So they do have the study in hand at this point. And moving forward, that study calls for a reduction in speed along a portion of this corridor. It calls for signalization at Peoria, at Elwood, and at Broadway. So traffic signals at those corridors. And that does not include the corridor today. But what I would add is, by having those signalization pieces in place in conjunction with a reduced speed limit, we believe it would have affected the outcome of this, or at least the severity of this moving forward. While it is a tragic piece and we continue to know we can't predict the future on these events, our goal today is to find a way to continue to minimize the danger to the traveling public, and to our residents, and to our school students as they move through this corridor. With that, we know some of these changes take time. We're dealing with a state budget.
Budget schmudget. Governor Stitt knows how to get money out of the federal piggy bank. He knows how to do this. Susan said, I am the squeaky wheel gets the oil. We went door to door to get signatures to lower the speed limit on our street. Connie Branch said, why haven't they done anything? It's not that hard. According to them, it's an act of God. Melanie said, but Willie, that's the question. And don't get me wrong, I voted for Stitt. There is money. There is money, trust me. We have a $2 billion surplus in Oklahoma. We do. Our state of the state, we have a surplus of over $2 billion. So he is fiscally responsible. This has got to be taken care of. And the truth is, nothing Stitt does is going to be right, because he's been cleaning up homeless camps. Well, not him personally. I mean, God, all he does is he's on Facebook telling people how to grow potatoes and onions and showing people how to, showing people his tomatoes. City Hall can't do anything because it's a state highway. It's not the city. It's not the county. It's a state highway. He's going to have to put some pressure on his ODOT. And there is money there. I promise. There is. Melanie, and how to hang clothes to cut energy costs. Remember that a few years ago when he said keep your air conditioner at 78? I was like, okay, you first. You and Stephanie first. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, Kev. You first.
It's not an immediate process sometimes. Right?
Back to what I was saying. I mean, anything he does is going to be wrong, because they're cleaning up these homeless camps because, well, it's inhumane. No one should be living on the street. No one should be under underpasses, living out of shopping carts. And so when they say you have a choice, you can either go to jail or you can go get treatment, and we're going to put you in housing. Because nobody needs to be laying around the street. If you choose to go to jail, the judge is going to tell you, hey, when you get out of jail, when you're done with all this nonsense, remember, you're not going to be back out on the street. And some of these weirdos who aren't even from here going, oh, that's exactly what Jesus would do. Right. Jesus would just say, I'm going to throw you in jail since you can't afford a house. They need mental help. They need help. And that's what's being provided. So I get that old Kev is up to his eyeballs right now in that problem. He can take care of this one.
It does take some time to work through the system and get that done. But what we are calling on today as part of this is immediately asking ODOT to begin an implementation of a reduced speed limit on this corridor. It is a piece that we've talked about with them in the past. We have had good dialogue in the past of trying to find ways to work forward. But unfortunately, we've come to a point that we have to begin to move forward quicker. And so that is the purpose of today, is to come in and say, we would like to see this happen immediately as we move forward. How can we get a reduction in speed limit? How can we get increased signage on the road? There is another school system at Bigsby, just right down the road, that has a signal in front of their school. What can we do here in Glenpool to begin to affect tragic outcomes like this as we move forward?
Bixby's not on the highway. You know the difference. Bixby schools are not on the highway. Glenpool School is right off the highway. Now, if you go to Rogers County, Highway 66 goes right in front of Sequoia Schools. There is a school zone. There is a no turnaround. There is a light that tells everyone, slow down, slow down.
The other thing that we're asking for as part of this immediately is a timeline on what it would take to begin to implement the recommendations from the corridor study, so that we understand and our public can begin to understand when to expect these changes to take effect. We have unfortunately seen way too many fatality accidents in this corridor and way too many crashes in this corridor over the years. And today is the time to begin to act. So with that, I will take any questions that you have. I can answer, or that Chief Plain can answer as we move forward.
So what are your messages? I'm sure you guys have gotten all the same ones today of everybody bringing up these concerns. What are your messages to parents and people coming in and out of that area that are concerned about this?
We understand their concerns. We share their concerns. We have been working with ODOT. That's part of the process that we put in place with the traffic corridor study and with the other pieces that we requested, including the reduced speed limit and signalization. And with that, we will continue to move forward to press ODOT on this issue and begin to work with our state legislative officials to find funding to help move this forward more quickly if possible.
So one of the things that OHB had discussed was this was actually de-annexed by the city, this area. What is kind of, I didn't know that. Is there, what happened there? Why is that?
Sure, let me clarify that a little bit. This area has never been de-annexed. When this area was originally annexed years ago, it was prior to the current configuration of that highway. And so the city annexed up to what's considered the state, or the right-of-way line through there, right? The section line road that was in place at that time on the highway. At the point that the state realigned to the highway slightly to make the expansions that you see today, it moved it slightly outside the city limits in a few places. So that's what we're dealing with today. It was not a de-annexation. It's just a process that unfortunately, part of the highway is in and part of the highway is out of the city limits as we move forward.
So that's kind of what creates all those, with ODOT.
Right. This is the process where, in our case today, that the highway patrol ended up working the crash site because it falls technically inside their jurisdiction as outside the city limits.
That's something that some people in my neighborhood, at least, didn't understand, because I'm boots on the ground. I'm talking to my neighbors. They wanted to know why it was Oklahoma Highway Patrol's jurisdiction, because it's a highway. It's a highway. Okay? It's a highway. That's why it's their jurisdiction.
Reality is, as we move forward, regardless of whether this is inside the city limits or not, it's still part of a traffic corridor to say that we've got. And we need those lights for the safety of the traveling public.
You had a question.
Yes.
Yeah. Is Glenpool still a safe city to expand in population given these concerns?
Absolutely. I think every city goes through certain processes as it continues to expand. We find areas and we address those areas. And that's what's happened here. We were proactive in working with ODOT to try to get pieces done on a state highway. Unfortunately, we are corralled by their requirements as a state entity. We have no control over how the state moves or how it does or what projects it funds or doesn't fund. And so for us, it is a matter of continuing to work proactively with ODOT. We don't want to create a scenario where we are at odds with the state. We want to find solutions proactively with them as we move forward. But the reality is we have come to a point that we have to do something now. We cannot.
Now is the word. Now is the word. Now is the word.
Continue to wait any longer.
You've spoken with Glenpool Public Schools leadership today?
I had a brief conversation with the superintendent earlier this morning, expressed my condolences to his team and to the faculty and students that are going there. I know he is working hard and diligently to work through this on his end.
Has district leadership shared concerns with y'all as well about this ongoing process?
We have been having ongoing conversations with the school system in the past. As we spoke today, we will continue to have those. I would imagine there will be several upcoming meetings as we continue to work and try to find some joint solutions moving forward and how we partner with ODOT.
All right, thank you so much, sir. If I could get you guys to both say your names and spell them as well as the items.
Absolutely. David Tillotson, Tillotson, city manager.
Jeremy Plain, last name is Plane.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Anybody else have questions?
You said you didn't have numbers on arrests or citations even?
That is not data that I pulled for today. The numbers I gave you today, you all can have a copy of that. It's just brief numbers as far as overall statistics and collisions. I can break those down further. That was the intent. I ran out of time to show you injury versus non-injury versus fatality over the last 5 years along the 151st corridor. Things like citations and arrest, we can provide that as well. It's something you'll have to do through open records request.
So this area is one of the most, where the crash happened today is one of the most deadliest stretches, is what you're saying.
All of 151st, that stretch from 26 West Avenue to Lewis, I have more collisions, both injury, non-injury, and fatality than I do anywhere else, including all of Highway 75.
And I would just add that we will be making the traffic corridor study available on our website, most likely by tomorrow morning is when I anticipate that will be up in case you want to look at it.
Oh, it's up. I saw it. And what they're going to do is they're going to say that truck drivers cannot be at the come and go anymore, that they're going to have to find different parking.
Has the city made, or how many requests have they made to ODOT about this particular stretch of road?
We have made requests, varying requests over the years, starting with the Broadway signalization process, starting as early as 2021. And so we continue to move that forward. Those requests have increased now that the traffic corridor study has been completed.
Will there be requests filed today?
There has already been a conversation about those requests today, yes.
With a lot of construction work happening on 75 and Glenpool, are more people using 151st, or is it more traffic than usual because of the construction?
We are seeing increased traffic on a number of city streets throughout the city. I can't say we've not measured specifically on Highway 67 to see if that has caused a significant increase or not.
And that's the intersection. It's 4 lanes that you would have to go across, say if you're at a stop sign to get eastbound or westbound.
It is a 4-lane divided highway at this intersection. And so, yes, they will have to, if you were going straight across, you would navigate a 4-lane process to get across.
You said you had been waiting to hear back about the quarter story that you had sent. When was that sent? Was it within the last few months?
I don't have the date. It was this year in 2025, earlier this year, I believe March or April, but I'm not certain as to that timeline as to when that was submitted to them. We have had conversations since then about that, but we have not received anything specific moving forward as to dates or timelines as to when we could begin to see some implementation of those pieces on the corridor study.
We know there hasn't been any done on your corridor study because a child died. And you're admitting yourself. Why is ODOT not given this press conference as opposed to the city manager? Goodness.
Chief, about today, the victim was released 9 years old. In your experience, has this been the youngest fatality victim that you can think of?
To my knowledge, it's the only juvenile fatality on 151 since I've been here. And again, there's other crashes at OHP's work that we weren't a part of and collisions that took place long before I came here. But in my experience, the ones that I've been a part of, it's the only juvenile.
What's traffic normally like at 8 a.m. on Monday in that stretch?
It's busy.
Traffic is horrible. People are trying to get to Tulsa. People are trying to get to Okmulgee. That's the reason, like, my husband has to be on the truck at 6 a.m. when he leaves out on Monday. And I tell you what, I'm itching, scratching, anxious, you name it, because I know if we leave too late, we're going to have a bunch of school buses. Kids make me nervous AF because they don't listen. You know, even with their parents standing right there, and don't tell me, oh, well, their parents should be there. No, they don't pay attention. I'm not saying the parents, the kids. It takes 2 seconds to look away and a kid runs out. That is the truth. Prove me wrong. That is the truth. So I'm always like, we got to get out here now because it's extremely busy. Extremely.
The road, or also what we call Fern or Warrior Road, is the road that runs north and south directly in front of the football field into the school. So you have east and westbound traffic trying to drop kids off at school on top of your normal flow of traffic for people trying to get to work, home, after work, things of that nature. So at any given time during the morning rush or the evening rush when school's out, you're going to see a huge increase in traffic there.
When y'all are able to look at that traffic corridor study, statistics for how many people are making what movements at each of those intersections on 151 are there.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks for that. To give you a little bit of a backstory on where we live, some people will say I tell a little too much about myself. It is what it is. This picture right here is Black Gold Park.
Welcome to this week's episode of Loyal TV in Glenpool, Oklahoma. In 1905, 2 oilmen struck black gold and unleashed a geyser that would set in motion the events that would make Tulsa world famous.
Hence why there is a lot of traffic, a lot of tankers, a lot of big trucks.
Was in 1901 when the very first oil well was discovered in Tulsa. Now, oil's already been discovered in Pennsylvania, Indiana, etc. So there are a lot of people who have begun to work in various positions within the oil and gas industry. But it's that Glenpool oil field. It was a community settled by a family of Glen, that was the name, and they were also Creek Indians. So there were 2 brothers, their name was Galbraith, and on their allotments was where the very first well within the Glenpool was struck.
For thousands of years, petroleum has seeped through the Earth's crust in many places, where evaporation and oxidation gradually change it to sticky bitumen or pitch.
The oil literally was seeping up and floating on top of water. That's how they first figured out that there could be this substance there. It was the businessmen who learned about or were involved in a number of different ways of the Glenpool field. And so they figured out that if they would build the infrastructure to Glenpool, the money really stayed in Tulsa. And that's what built our community.
100 derricks, 1,000 derricks.
Like many of our oil and gas stories, it was dry hole after dry hole. They're not reaching anything. And then all of a sudden, one night,
oil.
They finally strike that oil. And so that's the story, certainly, of the Glenpool. It was a vast field. Many people flocked to the area, bought these leases, and became very, very wealthy.
Built upon a pool of oil.
In 1905 through the early 1900s, it truly becomes the largest oil field in the world. However, one of the things that happened with the Glenpool is that so many people came in and drilled in that area that the oil field was drilled very quickly. I think that there certainly was an element of perseverance. These oil men, it was on such a speculative basis. There were many fortunes that were made and then lost because they reinvested in additional wells, which were dry. But it was this idea of the sky's the limit and the ability to make those dreams come true because of the revenues from the oil fields.
The story of Robert Galbraith will forever be memorialized by the 28-foot-tall monument that continues to shine his legacy across Oklahoma. Join us again next week.
Yes, I love their fireworks. They have huge fireworks. I mean, anywhere you look, when you're in the backyard, you can see them everywhere. And don't get me wrong, I love our town. I do. It's not my hometown, but it's my home now. I like Linda. I like Donovan. Believe it or not, we have become friends. I like my neighbors across the fence. I like them all. I do. It's a really great community. But the fighting over oil is a huge problem. I am so happy that our community has come together and is doing things like this.
Happening right now, you're taking a live picture there from a vigil being held for a 9-year-old killed in a crash this morning in Glenpool.
This is just such a tragedy for this community. This is happening right now at Morris Park. Our Samson Timajani is there right now. Tonight, he'll share more on how friends and families are remembering that little boy's life tonight at 10. Thanks so much for sticking with us tonight at 6. I'm Naomi Kitt.
And I'm TJ Ecker. We have team coverage on that tragic loss of a Glenpool student. I was actually on scene soon after it happened.
But first, we want to turn to 2 News Oklahoma's Samson Timajani. Before heading to that vigil with dozens of people there, he listened as city leaders came together to address that dangerous roadway.
Glenpool officials want to make it clear while it's OHP investigating Monday's deadly crash here behind me, it's their first responders and residents who have been at risk for too long. City Manager David Tillotson told us in July and again Monday, his office has asked Oklahoma Department of Transportation numerous times in the last 4 years to step in and at least put in reduced speed limit signs and traffic lights along the state highway near Glenpool High School. Also speaking to us in Monday's presser was Police Chief Jeremy Plain, pointing out 151st Street is the deadliest roadway in the city, according to the department's records.
Even over Highway 75. Per capita, we have more collisions with fatalities or injuries on that stretch than we do anywhere else. There have been conversations about school zones, reduction in speed right there. And so far, I'm not saying ODOT hasn't heard us or took it into consideration, but no action has been taken.
City Manager David Tillotson says the city communicated its repeated safety request to Oklahoma Department of...
I see your names in the GoFundMe. You all just raised support for this family by $200 and some odd, and I know you're praying, because who in here is offended by praying? Not me. You guys are the best.
Transportation again in wake of this crash on Monday. In Glenpool, Samson Timajani, 2 News, Oklahoma.
All right. Well, if they allow me to, I will, I'll be like JLR. I'll be boots on the ground. My boots on the ground are going to the mailbox and catching a neighbor and asking them what they think, except for Frank, because he'll call Glenpool police and say I'm trespassing. So it's horrible. It's horrible. Oklahoma Department of Transportation knows what to do. They know what to do. And this little boy should have never lost his life. His mama should not be in the hospital. His siblings should have never been hurt. It is a horrible, horrible situation. So on that note, I am going to close it out because, well, I'm pissed. as you can tell.
Where the wave and wheat and sure smile sweet when the wind comes right behind the rain. We sit alone and talk and watch our hawk making lazy circles in the sky. We know we belong to the land.